Hello, this is Richard McGann, and this is my video essay on the Haitian Revolution versus the American Revolution through the lens of race and their constitutions. The Haitian Revolution and the American Revolution were two extremely important events that became two examples of wars for liberty and freedom in world history. While both center around freedom, the American Revolution was freedom from an oppressive government. The Haitian Revolution was freedom from slavery. In this video, I will compare and contrast these two landmark events to display how impactful they were for the way we view history today. The Haitian Revolution was a war fought between the enslaved Haitians and the Frenchmen that enslaved them. According to the introduction of The World of the Haitian Revolution by Carolyn E. Fick, between 1791 and 1804, they established a social and political conjuncture that significantly shaped the history of the Atlantic world. This revolution led to a completely emancipated nation that is still, to this day, a mostly black country. Haiti, formerly known as Saint-Domingue, had been stricken by slavery for hundreds of years. There were multiple attempts at emancipations from the slaves throughout that time, which would make this final stand so important, with the earliest attempt being Macandal's revolt in Saint-Domingue in 1757. There were hundreds of thousands of enslaved people in Saint-Domingue, which outnumbered the free people by over 5 times. In the 1790s, the revolution had picked up a lot of steam. In 1791, enslaved people revolted in the North, which would lead to a civil war. Great Britain and Spain would send troops to the Caribbean to aid in the war. Great Britain aligned with the white Frenchmen, while the Spaniards wanted to take the entire island, so they helped the rebels in 1793. This would force France to make an emergency decision to emancipate the slaves. The next year, they would ratify the initial emancipation, but Great Britain was not done. They would send more troops in 1795, which would end disastrously for them. With bad strategy and disease, 3 out of every 5 soldiers would not return to Great Britain. Toussaint Louverture, the rebellion leader, would claim control over the territory. Louverture would face a few more challenges, but by 1801, he was able to seize control over the entire island of Hispaniola. He freed every slave on the entire island. This would come to an end when the French attacked again. Louverture would agree to a truce, but he would be betrayed and eventually die in a French prison. This provided the French another opportunity to reclaim the island, but with Louverture gone, that made way for another leader to step up. General Jean-Jacques Dessalines took the leadership role for the rebels after defecting back to them after betraying Louverture. Napoleon sent troops from Louisiana down to Saint-Domingue, but Dessalines made quick work of them and officially declared independence of the nation Haiti in 1804. The Constitution would be written in 1805. This was a landmark event for many different reasons. This was the first ever slave rebellion that worked. It was made more impressive by the fact that the rebels ended up fighting both the French and the British. But it would not have been possible if they were not gifted two great leaders. Louverture and Dessalines were geniuses. If the enslaved people in America heard about what was done in Haiti, then maybe the American Civil War may have looked very different. The Haitian Constitution was written by 17 men who were granted permission by the people of Haiti. The Constitution does not dance around the points it is trying to make. With an article such as slavery is abolished forever being the second one, it is clear that this nation would pride itself on all people being free. It would go on to put out very strict laws as well, with some being as simple as the law could not be retroactive to the not so great laws like every citizen must know a mechanical trade, or in cases of bankruptcy or business failure, Haitian citizenship is suspended. Overall, it was clear the Haitian government wanted to have a black utopia, but their inexperienced politicians would lead to their downfall. While the American Revolution was also fought under the same pretense of freedom, they were for very different reasons. The American Revolution was fought between the British and the American colonists. The British were displaying far too much power to the colonies, which led to an inevitable rebellion. However, in the context of slavery, the Revolutionary War was far less revolutionary. Throughout the entire war, there were slaves fighting alongside the Americans, which is rarely seen in both media and art from that era. The Americans would obviously go on to win that war, but the enslaved and free African Americans would not get any of the benefits or rewards for fighting for their country. From the eyes of a slave, there were no significant changes from before and after the war. In the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson would write on how important it was that all men are created equal. Jefferson must have meant that all white men were created equal to all other white men, because slavery would continue for about another 100 more years. It would go on to show how hypocritical the Americans were after they would cling on to slavery for decades after the British emancipated their slaves. There were a few major points in the American Constitution that would make it appear better than the Haitian Constitution from a distance. Some of the main points made are the checks and balances put in place, frequent elections, making sure no one person is in office for too long, a multi-tiered political system ranging from military to small state governments, no state separation from the nation, which was broken by the Confederacy later, and changes can be made to the Constitution in the future if it is voted on. There are some serious differences between the two nations and how their governments would be run. Haiti would still call the leader of the nation a king or emperor. America will implement far more layers within the government than Haiti did, such as their issuance of checks and balances. The leader of the nation has far more power in Haiti than they do in America, such as deciding who is in their courts. America has the opportunity to lawfully change the Constitution if needed, while Haiti does not. Haiti was split up into 6 different military districts, and if any Haitian falls upon hard times, they will be stripped of their citizenship. The Haiti Constitution appears to be written by people who have never led a nation before, which is true. The American leaders who wrote the Constitution were already leaders in their colonies and had far more people behind the writing of the Constitution besides just 17 recently freed Haitian men. These revolutions were legendary, especially when viewed through the lens of race. The Americans struggled to see Africans as people, which prompted them to continue slavery for decades. While the Haitians wrote in their constitution that no white people will be allowed to own land or be a citizen of Haiti. Neither constitution could be considered right through the lens of educated people in the 21st century. But that is why one point in the American Constitution stuck out the most. The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to this Constitution, or, on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states, shall call a convention for proposing amendments, which is in either case shall be valid to all intents and purposes, as part of this Constitution, when ratified by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states, or by conventions in 3/4 thereof, as the one or the other mode of ratification may be proposed by